Hello and welcome to this lecture video. In this lecture video I'm going to review Canvas, and I'm also going to review how to access WileyPlus and also how to access your Excel book. Okay, so if I look over here at Canvas, this is what you'll see when you log into Canvas. Okay, I'm going to go over some of the features of Canvas that I use. Okay, so the first one is announcements, and so if I click on announcements, you can come over here, and this will be the welcome announcement that you'll see, where it talks about our first meeting, which will be Monday night at 7:30 p.m. on the 18th. Okay, and I will probably put announcements up here every other day or so, at least, maybe even more, just kind of reminding you about what things are due, what you should be working on, which chapter lecture videos you should be watching, which quizzes you should be taking, what homework assignments are due, and when they're due. Okay, so just kind of a lot of reminders and recaps coming under here under announcements. Okay, so you'll see those, and you'll get a little notification that says an announcement has been posted. The other thing that I wanted to take a look at is I'll also use grades, and so I'm not going to click on here now because this would show grades for everybody. But anyways, this will be used for grades. And so this is where you can see what you received on your midterm, for example, or on your Excel case, okay, or on your group case analysis, or even on your final, or on your Excel homework grade. The one thing that I use quite a bit over here on Canvas is modules, and I also use conferences. Okay, so let's take a look at modules. So if I look over here at modules, click on that. And this is where everything is located, right? So you could go to files to find some of these, but it's going to be a little bit tricky to do that, because what I do when I set up this course in Canvas is that I borrow prior courses. I set this up from a prior course, and then I add and delete material as needed. So under files, you would see syllabi from last fall or 2 years ago. Okay, so going to files could confuse you, because you'll be wondering which is the most recent syllabus, which is the most recent lecture video document, so on and so forth. So what I want you to do, rather than going to files, is always go to modules. Okay, so always go to modules. And so here under modules, you can see we have our syllabus and schedule. We have our registration instructions for WileyPlus. And so WileyPlus, as I discussed in the syllabus, is your textbook. Okay, so you have two required course materials. The first one is the access code to WileyPlus, and that's where you're going to register here for WileyPlus, and then you can purchase the access code straight from there. Okay, and then the other one is you're going to purchase either an ebook or a printed book on using Excel for management accounting. Okay, so you look over here, we have our syllabus, we have our schedule. Right? We have our WileyPlus instructions, and then down here we have our lecture videos. We have a little file on how to print the notes. We have our file on our group case analysis, and this is really group case analysis, and so I'll change that later. It says group presentations, but you don't have to do a presentation, it's just group case analysis. Okay. You do have a lecture video here talking about debits and credits, because you will have to know some debits and credits, and then the accounting equation. Could have been some time since you've done that, so I do have a little lecture video that reviews that. And then I have chapters, chapter 1, and then here's your chapter 1 notes. These are the solutions to the exercises and problems that are at the end of each chapter in your WileyPlus textbook. Okay, so again, WileyPlus is like McGraw-Hill Connect. Okay, so what it is it allows you to do quizzes, homework, and it also has a PDF of your textbook. So with this course, you're not going to buy a physical copy of the textbook. You can get the textbook, a PDF, which you can then print off from WileyPlus. And at the end of each chapter in WileyPlus, you have additional exercises and problems, and those are right here. The solutions for those are right here. We also have some files here on Excel review, and then I can see we will do some Excel in this course. can see I have my chapter 2, chapter 3, and so this is our chapter 2 notes, and then this is your solutions to the exercises and problems at the end of chapter 2. Same thing here with chapter 3 notes, the solutions, and then these here are just some extra problems that we'll take a look at. Chapter 4, so on and so forth, kind of the same setup where I have your notes that I use for the lecture videos, and then also the solutions and exercises. And then we have some stuff on Excel pivot tables right over here. We have some regression that we'll do in Excel and some break even. And then you do have an Excel case. It's on YMCA and King's Dominion. Then you have chapter 5 materials. What I will do over here, you can see I have something here for midterm study materials. And so what I will do here is I will post 4 files for the midterm, and I'll do the same thing for the final. I will post a midterm study guide. I will post a midterm exam distribution that shows you which chapters the questions on the midterm come from. I will also post a practice test and then the answers to the practice test. Okay? Chapter 6, some additional problems right over here, and then we have our chapter 6 notes, and then these are the solutions at the end of the chapter. Okay? And then we have our chapter 7, we just have an extra PDF over here looking at theory of constraints, and if we have time I'd like to talk about that. And then we also do this, I'd like to talk about this article if we have time. We have chapter 7 right over here. This is your chapter 7 notes, chapter 7 solutions, chapter 8, chapter 10, chapter 11, chapter 12, final exam study materials. There's 4 files just like what I talked about with the midterm, the study guide, the exam distribution, the practice test, and then the answers to the practice test. I've also gone ahead and I did post the solutions. Giambalvo right over here is the author of your textbook that's used in WileyPlus. He's the author. That's why I call it Giambalvo, but it's also the solutions to the exercises and problems at the end of each chapter in WileyPlus. Okay? So I posted all those solutions there for you. Your Excel book comes with starter files. So in your Excel book, you'll have to do some Excel exercises that apply to management accounting, using Excel to solve management accounting problems, and lots of times it will ask for a starter file. And so you could go out to the companion book website to download these, but I posted them here in a nice little area for you just to make it easier. And I've gone ahead and posted the solutions to the Excel homework as well, because as you see in the syllabus, the Excel homework is graded for completion, not for accuracy. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is I want to come back over here and let me just quickly click on conferences. And so I have another lecture video that shows you how I run the conference. But just to give you a quick overview of conferences, this is how we will do our weekly synchronous meetings. Okay? So obviously this is a 100% online class, but once a week, 7:30 p.m. on Monday nights, Eastern Standard Time, I will have a conference right over here. Okay? And you can join the conference, and then you can ask questions during the conference. I'll probably go over some important announcements during the conference, and then what I'm also going to do during the conference is maybe take a look at some of the harder problems that were in the course notes and or additional exercises and problems from the end of each chapter. Okay? So the conferences will be time for you to ask questions, for me to go over important course announcements, and also for me to do additional problems and or review some of the harder problems in the chapter notes. Okay? So let me come back over here to modules, and I did want to point out some other things right over here. So the first one is our lecture videos. So if I click on this, this is where all of your lecture videos are. So let me go ahead and open up this file. And so for example, let me take a look at chapter 1. So all you have to do is I'm just going to Control-C, come over here, post it right over here, and then this brings up a YouTube video of me going through the chapter 1 notes like this. Okay? So you can see me going through over the chapter 1 notes. You don't see my face, but you see me writing in So let me just be quiet. It's an example. So I'm going through and I'm writing in and commenting and annotating about these chapter notes. And then these chapter notes also have additional problems, okay, where I solve problems step by step. So this is where the real content delivery of the course is going to be. Most of the meat of the content delivery of the course will be housed in these chapter lecture notes, okay? The once a week synchronous meetings will be used to reiterate some important points from the chapter notes, but then also to go over additional problems and give you a time to ask questions during that synchronous meeting, okay? So we come back over here to modules. So you can see I was going over some specific notes there for chapter 1. And let me show you where you find those. That's here. So if I bring up this chapter 1 notes right over here, for example, this is the chapter notes. Okay, so what you want to do is print these notes off, or you can just bring them up in your laptop, and then you'll want to watch these chapter 1 lecture videos to help you go through these chapter 1 notes. And then you can see here's an additional problem, for example. Here's a step-by-step problem, an example problem where I'm going through and doing an accounting problem that illustrates the concepts in chapter 1, okay? So that's the way these chapter lecture notes are set up. Let me click out of this. I'm going to come back over here to modules. And let me take a look at WileyPlus right over here. We'll take a look at WileyPlus. So this is what you're going to do. This is WileyPlus, which is your managerial accounting textbook, right? The G involvement written by G. So what you're going to do is you're going to download this file, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to WileyPlus Course Finder. I'm going to copy and paste this course ID right over here. And I'll put it, you have to kind of delete that first. I'll put it right there. Do a search. And then that's you can see this is the MBA GBUS 527, Summer 2020. This is the one that you want to register for. And then if you don't have a WileyPlus, you'll go ahead and create an account. And then you'll purchase the WileyPlus access code. And then once you are in WileyPlus, that will give you the opportunity to go ahead and see all the quizzes and also to see the actual PDF of the textbook, okay? So what I want you to make sure you do as soon as possible is to go ahead and register for WileyPlus, okay? So if I look back over here, the other thing I wanted to show you really quickly is if I look at the syllabus, okay? Right. So you can see the required materials, WileyPlus, and then this other textbook right over here. I'll just copy and paste this. Browser, paste, and this is it. And so right now you can see it's just a soft cover, but coming soon will be an option to purchase the ebook as well. All right. So the thing is that sometimes it may take some time for you to for you to receive the book. If you buy it from this publisher, I've been assured that it should come very soon. But given some of the COVID situation and some of the delays in shipping, I might encourage you to go ahead and buy the e-book. So it's going to be an electronic version of the textbook. I think that would probably be safer. And that's something that I've worked with this publisher on. And so they're just still trying to work up getting the e-book right there, okay? But that is the second required course material. So the first one is WileyPlus. The second one is this Excel book. Go ahead and purchase WileyPlus and then this Excel book as soon as possible, okay? Like I said, there will be an option to purchase the e-book coming very soon. My recommendation would be to do the e-book, okay? Unless you just really like having a physical textbook, okay? So that kind of concludes what I wanted to go over with Canvas right over here, and also how to access WileyPlus. And we'll go over this in more detail on our first synchronous session. Please go ahead and register for WileyPlus as soon as possible and purchase your Excel book. Thank you.